newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune, the Daily Post, the Nation newspaper, and Roberts, and would look into some of the stories. And then you get to call into your opinions. And we will also like to announce to you this morning that we will just be having the headlines this morning. The TGIF edition of the show will not be holding today. Please bear with us. Now, I have stories such as fuel scarcity, hawkers sell cheaper than filling stations. And this is according to an investigation from the Vanguard newspaper. Involvement of women into drug addiction worrisome. NIS Deputy Controller Fatima. And this you'll find in the Daily Post newspaper. President Tinubu visits King Charles to bolster Nigeria-UK diplomatic ties. You find this in all of the Nigerian dailies this morning. I'm taking it from the Punch newspaper. Nigeria signs Cape Town Accord on aircraft lease. This will be found in the Nation newspaper this morning. And group faults detention of end bad governance protesters, demand immediate release. Victims of end bad governance protest warns against October 1st demonstration. This you'll find in the Vanguard newspaper. End bad governance protests. You become agents of oppression. Furiwa knocks judiciary. This is in the Daily Post newspaper. 80% of animals in Borno Zoo affected by flood. Veterinarians. And Borno flood, 1 million persons affected, 414,000 displaced. Maiduguri flood, NEMA military intensify rescue operations as over 30 die. And over 100 Ebonyi flood victims cry for financial help and relief materials. This too we will find in the Daily Post newspaper. And back to the Nation newspaper, floods in Katsina claim 15 lives, displaced over 3,000 people. And IGR reduction, aviation workers to stage peaceful protest September 18th. This you'll find in the Punch newspaper and also the Nigerian Tribune. Air Chief urges officers to embrace financial accountability. And the FRSC warns officers against extortion and indolence. And still from the FRSC warns against night travels amidst deadly crashes. And CBN directs payment service providers to begin POS transaction tracking. CBN directs PSPs to connect to PTS aggregators. And the House of Reps to seek to enhance its safety in Nigeria's electricity supply industry. Electricity stakeholders back NBET's application for license renewal. NNPC demands permanent office space for its staff at Dangote Refinery. Head on to the Vanguard newspaper to get details on this. Petrol marketers complained to Tinubu that our diesel is cheap. Dangote Refinery. Is also find this in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And back to the Daily Post. Removal of subsidy not cause of fuel price hike. TUC President Osipo. And fuel price hike. Ebonyi government seals 3 petrol stations. Court holds NBC's bid to terminate contract on Nigeria's analog to digital TV move. And Biafra declaration. Bridge met U.S. Speaker and Congressman Simon Ekpa claims. Head on to the Daily Post to get details on this. And counter-terrorism operations draining Nigerian government resources, says federal government. Why we are delaying students' stipend, Nelfund. You want to know why? Head on to the Vanguard newspaper. NUT warns against unchecked commercialization of education in Nigeria. This you'll find in the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And intellectual property rights expire after 20 years. NOTAP reveals. And Oyo Primary Healthcare Board begins recruitment. You want to get details on that? Head on to the Punch newspaper. Ibadan Circular Road Corridor residents appeal to Governor Makinde over setback. And Oshun monarch Aromo Laron dies at 86. And that is the Owa of Idisha. Food security. Ogun bans levies in markets to introduce price control. And Pharmacy Council shuts down 666 medicine shops in Kaduna. And FMC Abuja inaugurates committee on kidney transplant. Residents raise alarm over kidnappings in Owerri West and North. NSCDC arrests suspects in crackdown on illegal petroleum dealings in Rivers State. Students on bicycle crushed to death in Ondo State. Details of this in the Nation newspaper. Ebonyi Assembly approves purchase of aircraft for Chuba Okadigbo International Airport. And Edo Assembly faults IGP on suspension of local security. Still on Edo 2024, Council Chairman gets interim injunction against alleged planned arrest. And we have no confidence police will protect us. This is from Governor Obaseki. Hunter kills one, injures two others in Lagos State. Police arrest fake cop, neutralizes killers of Rivers CDC chair. And Amahuele led assembly to Fubara. Your appointments are illegal. Benue isolates 20 suspected monkeypox cases and confirms 4. While Governor Alia swears in first female SSG. And Kwara State Governor's SE, Nabaika, resigns, says receiving salary without working. Head on to the Punch newspaper for details on that. And bandits kill 5 policemen, 3 soldiers in fresh Sampara attack. A year later, timeline of Mohbad's post-death controversy. This will be found in the Vanguard newspaper. In the Nigerian Tribune, Mohbad. Court threatens subpoena against Naira Marley, Sam Larry, others. And Siwa discloses cause of Junior Pope's death, warns boat operators. Gospel singer Dele Gold is dead. And I once attempted suicide over 22 million naira debt. Real worry Peking reviews. This you will also find in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Okoyemi Famaki and Cubana chief priest clash over viral microwaved burger. Head on to the Vanguard newspaper also for details of this. And UK cop under probe for telling Nigerian women not to call police on their husbands. And why Ethiopia is 7 years behind the rest of the world. Head on to the Punch newspaper also to get details on this. And the first story we'll be starting with this morning is surrounding the Bad governance protest, and some have been granted bail by 10 of them have been granted bail by a court, and now some victims, a group of victims from the recent Bad governance protest, has cautioned against the planned October 1st protest, citing the dire consequences of the previous demonstration. Now, speaking at the press conference in Kaduna, leader Ibrahim Musa Kauru warned that another round of protests without a clear agenda would further endanger and impoverish citizens. He alleged that the main sponsors of the protest instigated the demonstration from abroad, while innocent citizens bore the brunt. Now, if we're going to avoid another protest, I feel like there are things the federal government can do or put in place. Either direct that security officers should I say man or guard these protesters to make sure that it's a peaceful protest, or that the government, it's still 2 to 3 weeks before the 1st of October, so I believe that the federal government can do something that would make people say, maybe we're not going to do this protest anymore. And I'm not talking about rice this time around, because anytime the government is wanting to do anything to ease the hardship, it is rice. The flood in Borno, it was rice. Rice. So I'm not talking about rice this time around.
If you are not unemployed, they give you rice. But at least honestly, we appreciate that the federal government is doing something. Rice is something. You cannot. I think they should even add beans because beans is very expensive right now. So if they add beans, Nigerians will be happier. But now on a very serious note about the end bad governance protest. I think this is exactly what the federal government wants to achieve. It's a way of intimidation, a way of putting the fear in the minds of an average Nigerian so that they would not be able to be a part of the October 1, the proposed October 1 protest. But I don't think it's the way to go. How would you say that people should not protest? Protest is a fundamental right. It is a constitutional right. If you are not satisfied with the way the government is being handled, you have the right as a citizen to protest. Now, the modus operandi of the protest is what we should address so that it will not become violent, so it will not be hijacked by hoodlums. Tony, we can't continue to deceive ourselves that we did not know that some of these hoodlums are sponsored. Some of them are sponsored by these same people that are warning that it could go haywire. So they will bring in people to infiltrate a rather peaceful protest so that at the end of the day, they would say, we told you so, that it was going to be violent. That being said, look at all the issues we have. How far have we gone with Yahaya Bello? We have issues around us that we should address. Not intimidating peaceful protesters, Nigerians that feel, now you don't want people to protest, why don't you address the issues that Nigerians are raising? Look at what we were able to, we said, people should not protest, the end bad governance protest. Some people held back because they felt we can actually give this government some more time. Let's be patient. Some people were actually advocating for patience and for peace. They held back. Then what did we get at the end of that protest? What did we get? It was like a punishment for that protest. The hike in the price of fuel was like a punishment. So now you're telling people should not. Who are the victims? Victims of what exactly? And I'm sure that the sponsors of this protest have never mandated anyone to join the protest. It is voluntary. You decide to be a part of the protest, you decide not to be a part of it. No one is going to force you to be a part of it. But this is what the federal government wants to achieve, so that people will see, how many parents would allow their children to go on a protest right now, knowing that they have given 100 million naira bill? Is that not the amount they gave those 10 people remanded for intimidating the president? Very, very interesting.
Very.
For intimidating the president and for treason. Even Mr. Falano had to say that the federal government was trivializing the word treason by accusing mere protesters of treasonable. What's that? It's a way of intimidating the people and to ensure that no one will be able to come out and protest with his or her full chest. But I don't think it's going to work. I honestly do not believe that it's going to work. Look at what is happening in Borno State. Look at the pictures, look at the videos that we see coming from Borno State. And the federal government is offering rice. Where are they going to take the rice? Where are they going to collect the rice?
You know when your phone falls inside water, they say throw it inside
Throw it inside rice.
Maybe the rice will soak up the flood.
So how do you want, we have, as at yesterday I read over 2,000 displaced. 3,000. Over 200, what am I even saying? Over 200,000 over displaced. Death toll rose to like 260 something yesterday also. So what are we talking about? So is that the solution that the federal government will be giving right now? So a dam overran. A dam overran, and the whole of Borno State is in shambles. So what has been going on in that state? who is the commissioner for environment, who is supposed to be responsible for checking these calamities. We're supposed to be responsible for it. That is one problem we have in this country. It is almost a case of nil consequences every time. The lives of these people are up in the air. Their livelihood up in the air. So are we supposed to be responsible for ourselves? No one is going to get punished for this. I don't know if you read that China. Did you read it? Was it China or South Korea that murdered 30 officials over flood? Please check it. You will see it. Because they could not handle the case. So what are we are not even going to resign in this place. No one is even going to resign out of shame and incompetence. We are just going to glide over it. Everyone is going to start looking for solutions as if we are supposed to be responsible for ourselves. Where is the government of the day? The only thing we want to focus on now is to ensure that there is no protest. North Korea. North Korea. That is, of course, we know that's extreme.
20 to 30 officials.
That's extreme. No one is asking that we go ahead and start killing people. But at least, let us know that you are holding some people responsible for issues in this country. Let us know that people are being held. When people know that something is going to happen to me if I don't do my job. How many people are going to be resigning like this essay in Kwara State? How many people will resign like Labaika? A man being paid for doing nothing. Special assistant to the governor, artist. What exactly are his job duties? Toni, what is he supposed to do? Special advisor, artist. Is he supposed to perform for the governor?
Maybe he wants to advise on entertainment issues.
No. If it had been entertainment, it would be entertainment. We have culture. We have tourism. We have entertainment. What is artist? Is he to be singing along at campaigns or at events? You know, we do these things. So the man said he hadn't been doing nothing. He's just been collecting salaries and is against his beliefs. He had to resign. Do you know how many wastes we encourage in this country? Do you know how many wastes we indulge in this country? And we go about saying that we inherited comatose economy. We inherited very bad economy. Are we living like somebody that inherited a comatose economy? Are we not living like we are in opulence, we are in abundance and prosperity?
Buying the shawarmas and the burgers.
If your economy is in comatose, Toni, nobody is going to tell you to cut down. Nobody. It's just like a father telling the family that we are on low budget, and you are out there drinking pepper soup. You are out there enjoying yourself, snacking in between meals, and you are telling your wife and your kids, guys, we have to be modest. You have to exercise patience. You have to sacrifice. You have to tighten your belt. You have to reduce all these luxuries. And you, as a father, that is supposed to be responsible for them, telling them that, okay, this is what we are going to do. Let us cut this cost, and it's starting from me. You are the one that is seen living in total opulence. Who would see us? Who would see our president? Who would see his entourage and believe that we are living like this? And we are still borrowing. We are still going about borrowing. It is interesting that we borrow to steal. We borrow to loot. We borrow to misappropriate. We borrow to embezzle. And then we will be made to pay back. It's disheartening. There are issues that the government is supposed to address. Instead of addressing people that want, why would people want to protest if you are doing what you should do? The $25 billion spent on our refineries gone. There are workers in the refinery still collecting salaries.
We are not lying.
What are they doing? What are they doing as workers in the 4 refineries that they are still being paid salaries? Can they redeploy them elsewhere? And let us know that we do not have refineries, but we have refineries that are still gulping money. But they are not in use. And no one is talking about it. No one is looking in that direction. Now we are all focusing on Dangote Refinery. We even want to have an office there now. I heard you. We are asking to have an office, a location, a placement as Dangote Refinery. It's ridiculous. It's shameful. I don't know if we are thinking about all these issues. We just like to play it by ear every time. No adequate planning. So what did we plan for? Is this what we planned for before we started to campaign?
Now, on fuel matters, according to Vanguard, it's conducted an investigation, and I'm just going to read what I have here. Nigerians have not seen the last of the current petrol scarcity in the country, as some funny developments have continued to emerge by the day. The most amusing one presently is that fuel is now sold cheaper by hawkers when compared to the pump price at filling stations. Vanguard investigation revealed that fuel is sold at 1,000 naira per litre by hawkers along Mile 2 Apapa Expressway, as against 1,070 naira and more at most filling stations controlled by independent marketers. Apart from major distributors, some names were mentioned. Other dispensing petrol at 1,070 to 1,400 naira per litre. Vanguard investigations further showed that while fuel might not be available at some filling stations, motorists could easily find any quantity to buy from the nearby hawkers displaying the products mostly in white gallons. Investigations reveal that these hawkers never run out of products, and they are sure of constant supply from tanker drivers at night who give them the fuel at giveaway prices. Although the hawkers were not ready to disclose their source of procurement, some people also doing business in the area said the tanker drivers supplied the fuel to the boys without minding the loss to the owners of the products. There's a quote here: "My brother, you need to come around here at night when this lucrative business is going on and the kind of money that exchanges hand. I'm even considering joining them, but I doubt if they will sell to me. The business is coded. The drivers know their customers and they do not hesitate selling to them." A young woman who wouldn't like to be identified told Vanguard. And a young man told their reporter that he was rescued a few days ago when he ran out of fuel by the hawkers, described them as God sent. He said, "I ran out of fuel in the traffic along Mile 2 Expressway, and only God knows what would have happened to me if these hawkers were not there to sell petrol." And the man said, "My car dashboard showed the amber light from Lekki, my place of work, and I was looking out for a place to top my fuel, but couldn't find any on the road. My car finally stopped around Mile 2 at around 8:30 p.m. in traffic. I had no option now to patronize the hawkers who graciously sold petrol to me at 1,000 naira per litre. In fact, I was ready to pay more for it, given how urgent I needed it. Maybe I would have been attacked by hoodlums if not for the intervention of the hawkers who came handy with the products." It's amazing to me. If I recall well, the price increase from the NNPCL is 855 or something. I am not sure the 800 and some stations are actually selling for 1,004. And now these hawkers are selling for 1,000 naira to people, and people are actually finding them better to buy from than even filling stations. If I say I understand, I don't understand why things in this country is nothing. Mostly things are not organized, and those who are supposed to control price are not starting from here.
So these trucks that are selling, where are they getting from?
They're supposed to take it to maybe I own this filling station, and one of my truckers instead of them to bring fuel to this place. Decide to sell to hawkers on the road.
On the
at
road.
whatever
And
price.
whoever demanded for the trucks of fuel does not know that one truck is short.
Well, that's another question.
They are all in this together, Tony. They are in this together. They are not selling to the hawkers at the same price. They are selling higher. They are selling at higher prices to those hawkers because they know that's black market. And we are here. They have made the law that they should not sell in jerrycans for innocent Nigerians that want to go and use privately at home. They are no longer selling in kegs. So what of those milling women, those with milling machines? So how are they supposed to get their fill to grind your peppers? How are they supposed to get fill? And we have people who have decided to siphon and to cut corners and sell to hawkers because they know that they are going to sell at a higher price. Just imagine now, you will sell at probably 1213 to these people, and these people will go out and sell at black market. Black market that is not regulated. They can decide to sell it at 2,000 naira because they know that they will have buyers. They will have buyers for it. You go around filling stations now, they decide to sell when they want to sell. Most of them are hoarding this product because they are waiting for when the price will go higher. Because they know that is what they are waiting for. They know there is the possibility of the price going higher. So they are selling in bits. They are fishing for information around and they are hoarding whatever product they have so that they will make maximum profit. It is a racket. They are in it together. None of them can claim innocence. I heard you saying Dangote said that some marketers are saying that his diesel is cheap. They are complaining that his diesel is cheap. How does that affect their own sales? Does it affect the price at which it gives to them? And does it affect the price at which they sell? Do they not still make their profit? Why should you be telling somebody that his product is cheap? Compared to what? Or compared with what? Is there a problem for a product to be cheap? Sometimes we are not here to honestly blame the federal government 100%, Toni. But the problem I have with the federal government is that they pretend that they do not know that these things happen. That's why they have eyes everywhere. That's why they have ministers. That's why they have a retinue of aides. What are these aides doing if they can't go out to get this information and tell their principal? They should know that these things are happening. You can't blame them for everything, but they should be able to regulate these things. These things should not be happening under their nose. That's why they are the government. The buck stops at their table. You can't blame these people too. You can't, because they will continue to do it because nobody is going to stop them. Who will stop them? Now you are telling Dangote that his diesel is cheap, so he should find a way around it and make it more expensive. Why? Did he say he's running at a loss? That's how we teach ourselves to be evil. Don't be surprised if before the end of the year he increases the price. Because the market forces, they will force him to increase that price. Because they want to make more profit. And they want to hide under the guise of we are not the ones. The landing cost is ridiculous. So we'll make our profit too.
Now we'll go into the details of that. The Vice President, Dangote Industries Limited, Mr. Hedwin, has said the marketers of petroleum products in Nigeria have complained to President Tinubu that the company's diesel remains too cheap at 900 naira per litre. Dangote Refinery has constantly reduced the price of the product from 1,200 to 1,000 naira, now 900 naira per litre. In the past few months, thus affecting revenue and margins to the marketers. Speaking at a Twitter space session organized by Nairametrics, Edwin said the refinery currently struggles to sell about 29 tankers of diesel daily due to low patronage from marketers of petroleum products. He said petroleum product marketers in Nigeria have written to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to complain that the refinery local prices have dropped from 1,002 to 1,900 naira per litre and are impacting their businesses negatively. He highlighted some challenges facing the Dangote refinery while stressing its impact on Nigeria's fuel supply and prices. And I saw a funny question online when last week when the Dangote refinery revealed that that the fuel was ready and that they were also waiting for the NNPCL to come and lift petrol. And someone just asked a funny question. Now I am seriously considering. Someone said, "Sir, can't we come and buy by ourselves from your refinery?" Because at this point, they are going to want to say it's so and so, give us different excuses. And this makes that question even valid.
Yeah, I don't think we can. I don't think because I read also NNPC said Dangote refinery is free to sell to anyone. But I think he is going to be selling to marketers, major marketers, or I call them minor marketers. Maybe, but not individuals. NNPC sells to major marketers and then to individuals. That's why you see the queues there most of the time. But I don't think Dangote refinery, because it's like you going to buy fuel at Port Harcourt refinery or Kaduna refinery. I don't think it works like that. So they have to lift it from there and then bring it to town, because individuals cannot just be going to the refinery to line up. It might be, I think, maybe cumbersome or even dangerous. The logistics would be something we can't work out, and it's really going to be like going out on a limb. We can't afford to take that risk.
Now, the National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion has stated that inventors of creative intellectual property can only hold exclusive rights to their works for 20 years. After this period, the invention will be transferred to the public domain and can be used by any individual. The Notab Director General, Obiageli Amadiobi, disclosed this at a press conference on Thursday. This revelation emerges amid recent controversies concerning the ownership of intellectual property rights for songs by musical artists and the necessity of obtaining permission from the original artist. She said the commemoration complies with the resolution made by the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union Council of Ministers and Assemblies of Heads of States and Governments, at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia in July 1999. Now, I am specifically bringing this up because I discovered something on Wednesday. The song and I Will Always Love You that we hear from Whitney Houston apparently is not Whitney Houston's song. That song is 50 years old now, and the owner of the song is Toni. She sang that song. It's not even a love song; it's a parting song. And she sang that song to her partner when she wanted to leave and start singing on her own. And she sang that song in two different ways and made loads of money from it. Now, there was going to be a movie and they needed a theme song for it. They had already picked the theme song, but while they were working on it, someone released a movie and that was the theme song for it. So they just said, "Oh, let's use this song." So they reached out to her, told her they were going to use the song, but she said she didn't hear from them after then. Then she was driving from her office to her home, and then she heard it from the radio that she almost crashed the car, but she parked. And hearing that song in that manner, she sang it as a country music, but hearing it in the way Whitney sang it, that she was so overwhelmed that she was really happy and all of that. Now, all of the royalties of that song came to her.
To Dolly Parton.
Yes, and she was like, even Elvis was going to use the song also, do the cover of the song, but that his managers at then wanted the publishing rights to the song. And she said, the royalties I've gotten from Whitney singing that song alone, I can buy you out. So I don't need you to take. Now, for 50 years, she's still taking the royalties of that song because it has. Now, this one that this Nigerian Notab and the African Union thing is saying that you own your rights to intellectual property you only have it for 20 years. I don't seem to buy it. I'm not going to have something that is going to blow up in the whole world, and then someone tells me you only have
after
right
20 years,
20
then
years.
it's going to be in the public domain.
Imagine the Ngogongbo thing. Imagine it was just for 20 years.
Just for 20 years. I think the man would have lost out. We have to honestly begin to do more to respect intellectual property in this country. People don't respect creatives, honestly. We don't. We see it as, just look at this industry. Creative industries suffer in Nigeria because people look down on talents. They just see it as, look at how long it took us before we began to appreciate actors and actresses. Our parents then, they won't even hear it. You want to sing, when I was young and my dad was around you and you are playing a song and you're singing along, the way he would look at you, so and you're like, what? So you'll be so ashamed of yourself, like you have done something out of this world. So they did not. But now I think we are coming up. We are beginning to appreciate talent. We are beginning to appreciate creatives. And the fact that they are even talking about it, Toni, I think is something. It's a positive sign that we are beginning to recognize the importance of creativity. And I'm sure that creatives will not agree to this 20 years. And they should not agree to it. Your royalty should be forever. Yes, your children should still collect royalties on your behalf. It's your ingenuity, for crying out loud. It's your creativity. It's your creation. So God blessed you with it. It's your inspiration. You worked on it, then it became acceptable all over the world. Then you should be able to get paid for it forever, for as long as you want. I know there are people who put their works in public domain. There are people who decide that they are donating this to the museums, they are giving this to the libraries, they are giving this to the world. Just use them. You go online, there are some songs that are not copyright. You can actually use them. But there are some that you can't even touch. So I think they should just allow people collect their royalties for as long as they wish to. If you want to give it out for public use, that should be your decision. It's a way of trying to regulate this, for crying out loud. We like to leave the issues in this country. We like to leave important issues. For crying out loud. You are leaving the ones we are asking you to regulate. Leave creative works. If people want to use somebody's intellectual property, you should be ready to pay for it. If not, sit down, get your inspiration, create something. Why should you now put a limit to what I'm going to get from my work? Are you going, okay, now, if a lawyer wants to practice forever, you think that, okay, you should not get paid forever. If a doctor is practicing forever, we do not respect creativity in this country. That's why parents will tell you, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be this, you must... Nobody wants you to be anything. They don't even want you to sit down and think. All they think about is just to go to school, get your certificate and start doing. They don't even want to think about something else you can do out of the four walls of the classroom. We should do better. We should appreciate creativity, people's ingenuity. How can you say that you only get royalty for your work for 20 years? 20 years. They didn't even say 50 years. 20 years. When some works do not even blow until after 20 years. So how much do they think you would have collected as royalty in 20 years? No. How much would you have collected in royalty for 20 years? Just 20 years. If God keeps you alive, 100 years, you are still getting something. Do you know when that work is even going to be more relevant
Christmas song resurrect
comes every
Christmas.
year. Look at our Odun Losope every year. Comes up every year. So you're telling me now that those women should have stopped collecting royalties.
Give me my money.
I won't say yeah to you.
Quickly before we open the phone lines this morning, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State has raised alarm over the security situation in the state ahead of the upcoming election. Now, he expressed concerns about the conduct of the police and other security agencies, accusing them of actively participating in actions aimed at disrupting the election process. He said, "You were here in 2020, and just like you rightly said, this is an off-cycle election. There's a lot of attention. Unlike 2020, I'm very worried because from the development and where we are today, the sign of the security pact, to sign the security pact, but the person who is supposed to enforce peace is now an active participant in creating a disruptive process. We had situations where from the IG's armed men just came, where from the IG's armed men just came into Edo State to invade, arrest, and take away PDP members. He was on his way home, attacked and shot at. He reported that the police asked him to come and give evidence but was arrested. As I speak, he's in Abuja. Even if offences were committed in Edo State, why would you not try them here? Why take them to Abuja? Are they offences of high treason? So why not even charge them in court? Why not charge them to court in Abuja? Now, there's a lot going on in Edo State. There's the spy policeman who had a lot to say on video about Mr. Obaseki, the PDP governorship candidate, although he's been arrested by the IGP. Then the IGP saying that the government's security should not participate in the election. Like the governor's security agents should not participate, should not be a part of those that will be securing the state during the election, should not be part of the election process. And then the whole APC saying they're not going to sign the peace accord.
PDP saying same thing. Yes. PDP and APC are opting out of the peace accord.
I hope.
What are you hoping?
I've seen elections in this country, and I was thinking this was just going to go smooth, peacefully, and just a walk in the park thing since it's an off-cycle election. But with this development,
there's no election in Nigeria that's just an election.
True.
And it's not. Even local government elections are not just elections. National Assembly by-elections are not just elections. That aside, all these locals that they are bringing up, it's really nothing. It's election. It's politics. They are going to deploy officials that will work. So it's probably not even going to be governor security that will be at the election. All these issues they are raising, they are non-issues, honestly. But it's what they should do to keep the conversation going during the election, because they have to let people know that their lives are being threatened, that issues are happening. They are not going to sign peace accord. I don't know when that peace accord has ever helped us in this country. I do not know. How peaceful our elections have been, I do not know. Okay, the peace accord that we signed, what is it supposed to achieve? Has that ever stopped hoodlums from making away with our ballot boxes? Has it ever stopped vote buying? Has it ever stopped sporadic gunshots at polling units? So even the last local government election we had here in Oyo State, they called from Oyo Town. They called from Fiditi. And there were sporadic gunshots. So the APC in Fiditi had to pull out of the election. At least we had the former commissioner of local government and chieftaincy titles speaking to us. Honorable Bimbo Kolade spoke to us here in the studio live. And he gave us the feedback from Fiditi. So it's not just election. But honestly, all the issues that are being raised, the spy policeman, they will get something to get your interest. You have to get your attention to Edo at this time because that is where election is coming to. So from there, we move to Ondo. Right. So we keep moving with them.
All right, we'll open the phone lines at this point. 08022889507 09124250426. Those are the numbers to call this morning.
There's no TGIF today. I said my yee till next week. Hello.
Good morning. Go ahead, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fidelis.
09124250426 08022889507. Just like she mentioned earlier, there's no TGIF today. I mean, today is still TGIF, but there's no TGIF edition of the show.
No, there's no TGIF.
Okay, there's no TGIF.
This is TGIF headlines. So there's no TGIF.
Hello, good morning. Please try again. 09124250426 08022889507. Those are the numbers. Hello, good morning. Go ahead, ma.
Amen.
Thank you. 09124250426 08022889507. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. How's that? Mm. Hmm. Wow.
We lost the call.
Mr. Sharafadin. Well, I don't think the time will permit him to call back. But if he can,
I think we'll just
we have to.
Yes. Our time is well spent.
Right.
Many thanks to everyone who has been a part of the show. We're sorry that TGIF is not for me today. But thank you to everyone who has been a part of the show. Thank you to our studio manager, Ikma Abdurrahman. Thank you, Adebisi Ogunjimi, my guest, and my producer.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Angela and Halima. And my name is Toni Adeoye. Join us next week for fresh editions of the headlines. Have a wonderful week.